Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at a BJC Social Studies exam past paper. We're going to take a look at the year 2013, paper 2, and this is a mapping related question based on a map of the Bahamas. So let's get started. The question says, study the map of the Bahamas, then complete the following statements by filling in the blank spaces with the correct word or words. Each correct answer is worth 1 mark. Now, with a question like this, the first thing you want to do is study the map. You want to get familiar with what is on the map and what it's all about. And one of the first things we notice on this map is that it has a key and a legend. And within the key and the legend, the first thing at the top there is the compass that tells us the direction of north, east, west, and south. Next up on the key beneath the compass are symbols to represent the water depth and also the settlements. The settlements are shown by little black dots which are placed one on each of the islands, and it represents the main island. Also at the very bottom of the map, you see there is a scale, and the scale is used to help us determine distances on the map. Now back to the water depth. There are 2 different types of water depths that are marked on the map. There's the shallow waters, which ranges anywhere from 0 to 600 feet deep, and the deeper waters, which are 600 feet and deeper. The shallow waters are illustrated by the white areas on the map, which you can see that I'm tracing out here. And those white areas represent the banks or the shallow waters in the Bahamas. Anywhere else on the map outside of these shallow areas would represent the deeper areas that are 600 feet and more. Next up on the map, you will notice that there are a range of numbers that are marked out on the bottom and the top of the map, but also on the left and the right. And these numbers represent the degrees for the lines of longitude, which run from north to south on the map. And the numbers on the left and right hand side represent the degrees for the lines of latitude, which run from west to east or east to west on the map. Now at the bottom and the sides of the map, there are also letters and there are some additional numbers. And those letters and numbers represent the grid reference, letters and numbers. And the very last thing you'd probably want to point out on this map is the location of Cuba and the location of Florida. So let's head to the questions. There are 10 questions, and this exam this section of the exam is giving 10 marks. So that's 1 mark per question. And the first question says the island located at 25.8 degrees north, 79.2 degrees west is, and in order to figure that out, we'll have to go and take a look at the lines of longitude and latitude. First, we'll take a look at the line of latitude, which is 25.8 degrees. So first, we'll take a look up and locate 25 degrees, and that's located there, and then we'll locate 26 degrees. So to find 25.8, it would be located closer to 26. So that line would be located about right there. So the island that we're looking for is going to be located on that line. But now we need to find the line of longitude. And we're looking for 79.2 degrees west, which should be located between 79 degrees and 80 degrees. But because it is 0.2, it'll be closer to 79 degrees. So that line runs about here all the way up. And the island that we're looking for is the island that we find at the intersection of the 2 lines. And as you can see, that is the island we're looking for, and it's the island of Bimini. The next question says the value of the longitude line, which passes through Andros and Grand Bahama, is. So we're looking for a line of longitude, And as you know, those lines run from north to south. And this line has to run through both Grand Bahama and Andros. And so first we're going to locate Andros and locate Grand Bahama. There's Andros, there's Grand Bahama, and there's the line. And so that line that runs through both of those islands is 78 degrees west. The third question says the Berry Islands are located in square. So this question is asking now for the grid reference. And we are to figure out which square the Berry Islands is located. So the Berry Islands is right there, and this is the square that we have to determine the grid reference for. Now, if you've played Battleship before, you've looked at grid references or coordinates, and so you should be able to understand how grid references work. But for those of you who haven't, let's talk about how we'll find out which square that is. We will look at the bottom labels for the grid reference marks, and we see that that square is situated by D. And then we look at the side and we see that it's located at the grid reference mark 6. And so we put that together and we label it D6. The fourth question says the distance from Arthurstown, Cat Island to Duncantown, Ragged Island is. So this is a question that is asking us to measure the distance. But before we do that, let's try and locate where Arthurstown and Duncantown are. So here's our handy map of the Bahamas, and Cat Island, Arthurstown, Cat Island is located right there, and Ragged Island is located right down there. So we're going to have to measure the distance from these two locations. So let's mark them out on the past paper. And once we've located them, the first thing we're going to do is draw a straight line to connect the two locations. The next thing we must do is bring in our ruler, and we're going to line our ruler up starting at mark 0, and we're going to measure the distance on the ruler from one location to the next. And when I measure it on my ruler, I'm getting 10.5 centimeters. So now I will make a note of 10.5 centimeters on my ruler, and I will bring my ruler down towards the scale, and I will measure out the distance of the 10.5 centimeters. Now, my ruler goes beyond the length of the scale, so I'm going to have to take these measurements in two parts. The longest distance on the scale on my ruler is 9 centimeters, and 9 centimeters on my ruler represents 200 kilometers on the map. So you'll remember that I measured out 10.5 centimeters, so that means I have an extra 1.5 centimeters left to measure. So we'll measure out what 1.5 centimeters is on the scale. And 1.5 centimeters represents approximately 40 kilometers. So I've gotten the full 10.5, and now I'm going to add them together. And 200 kilometers plus 40 kilometers is 240 kilometers. So that would be the distance between the two islands. The fifth question says, what is the name of the lake on the island located in H2? Again, this is a grid reference question. So we're going to have to first locate H, and H is located right there. And then we're going to have to locate 2, and it's located right there. So we're looking for the island that is within that square. And the only island located within that square is that island right there, which is Inagua. So the question is asking us for the name of the lake. That lake that's located within Inagua is Lake Rosa. Number 6 says, which direction would you travel to get from Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana to Cockburn Town, San Salvador? So we're traveling from Mayaguana to San Salvador. First, let's look at our map again and locate the islands. So San Salvador is located right there. and Mayaguana is located right there. And we're measuring from the main towns on these islands. So let's go back to our past paper map and mark those islands out again, San Salvador and Mayaguana. The direction in which we'll have to travel, we'll definitely have to travel north in order to get to San Salvador. But when we travel north, we're not there yet. So that means we're going to have to travel again in a western direction. So the direction we'll have to travel is north and west, or northwest. Number 7 says, give the name of the main settlement on the island of Abaco. Okay, let's compare the two maps together. The main settlement on the island of Abaco is Marsh Harbor. Okay, so we just write that in there. Number 8, how deep are the shallow bodies of water in the Bahamas? So it's a good thing we studied the map before we got started, because we already highlighted what the shallow areas are, and we see from the key that the shallow areas are anywhere from 0 to 600 feet deep, or 0 to 183 meters deep. Question 9 says the body of water located in B6. Okay, another grid reference question. We'll have to first locate B, which is right there, and then we're going to locate 6, and it's right there. So we're looking for that body of water that's within this square right here, and this square is B6. And so we're referring to this body of water, right, that runs right there, which is to the east of Florida and to the northwest of Andros. So let's take a look at a map. And this is the area where that body of water is located, and it is called the Straits of Florida. The very last question says the direction from Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera to Bimini is... Okay, so let's locate Governor's Harbor. It's located right there on Eleuthera, and Bimini is located right there. So we're trying to find the direction from Governor's Harbor to Bimini, not the other way around. So the first thing we do is locate it again on our past paper map. And to get to Bimini, we would have to travel north, and then we would have to travel west. So again, the direction we'll have to travel is northwest. Okay, so that's the end of this question paper, and I hope you learned something from it. But if you do need more help preparing for the Social Studies BJC exam, you may enjoy our new Social Studies community courses. These courses have live and on-demand videos, live instructor support, past paper answer keys, online quizzes, live workshops, and all the resources that you can think of to help you prepare for the Social Studies exam. So until next time, happy learning.